Hi, I'm Mark Gaylor and I'm a Sony Digital Imaging Ambassador. And welcome to my DMF video tutorial. Now DMF stands for Direct Manual Focus, and that can refer to the focus mode or the full-time DMF feature. Now this video is one in a series of the A to Z menus, and there are over 30 in this series. You'll see the collection on my YouTube channel. Now if this is not learning resources enough, I've also got 600 and 700 page ebooks for your late model alpha camera. Just head over to my Sony Alpha support channel, which is patreon.com/Mark Gaylor. Now while you're over there and you've subscribed to the first month, now there are no contracts or commitments, so you can just simply subscribe for one US $10 payment. You can also check out over 30 hours of video tutorials, download raw files from my camera and lens reviews, and also download camera setup files or camset files. Now you might find the DMF focus mode on the top dial if you're using an Alpha 1 or Alpha 9 camera. And this is not going to appear in the menus if it's on a physical hard drive. Now you'll also find the DMF focus mode also on the front of some of the RX cameras. So again, don't look in the menus if you have a hard dial control to access the DMF focus mode. If you don't have that dial, you will go into the menus, you'll go into the focus menus and look for the DMF focus mode. If you look at the in-camera guide by pressing the little trash can icon when you get to the menu item, it'll say after focusing with autofocus, you can make fine adjustments to the focus manually. So we'll open this up in a little bit more detail. So the DMF focus mode workflow is as follows. You'll press the shutter release to acquire focus. Remember, this is the AFS focus mode, so you may hear an audible beep to let you know focus has been acquired. After AFS has acquired the focus, hold down the AF on button or continue to half press the shutter while turning the focus ring on the lens in order to fine tune the focus. The image should appear magnified to assist in this task, and I'll go on to show you how to do this. Then you'll capture the image, and only then will you release the focus button, either the shutter release button or the AF on button. In order to get that magnified view, which you'll need if you want to fine-tune the manual focus, you'll go to the AF/MF menu, the Focus Assistant, and then choose Auto Magnifier in MF and switch that to On. Now the DMF focus mode is a manual focus override, remember, and it will appear in the magnified live view. So you will get an idea of how sharp that image is when you turn the focus ring before you fully depress the shutter release to capture the image. Now just remember to consider using subject recognition before resorting to DMF, because the cameras, especially the late model cameras with the AI subject recognition, are getting incredibly good to recognize all manner of animals and will push to the eye if it recognizes that one. The AFS will automatically lock on. Now if it doesn't recognize the animal, it'll lock on to the front of the nose in this frog, and then you would use the DMF feature by turning the focus ring to pull focus on the eye of your subject. So if camera focuses at the front, you'll shift the focus back to focus on the eyes. This is also incredibly useful even if you've got insect subject recognition, but it doesn't quite recognize the insect. You might want to just fine-tune that in the DMF mode. If the insect is moving, I would probably be using AFC, continuous autofocus, and just rely on the subject recognition. Now I've also used DMF with some adapted lenses. Here's a manual focus on a TechArt Pro AF adapter. Now with adapted lenses, focus can be a little bit out unless you fine-tune the focus. If you're using DMF, you'll be able to just automatically fine-tune that focus without going into the camera menus to do that. You will also see full-time DMF. This is not the DMF focus mode, but full-time DMF on some of the white lenses. Now originally it only appeared on the 600 and 400 GM primes, but it has started to be rolled out on zooms such as the 7200 GM version 2 and also the 7200 Macro G2 as well. Now this is slightly different from the DMF Focus Mode. Camera Guide will say changes the focus position through focus ring operation during autofocus. Now that sounds a little bit similar to the DMF Focus Mode, but the big difference here is we're not using AFS, single shot AF, we're using continuous autofocus. Even if your lens doesn't have that DMF switch, you might find the full-time DMF in the menus of your camera. Most Sony late model lenses are supported by this full-time DMF feature. They may not be supported for non-Sony lenses. The main feature of this full-time DMF is to rapidly shift focus distance in AFC. Sometimes these long telephoto lenses can struggle to find out where the subject is to focus on. And this is where we manually intervene to push focus into the general region of the subject, and then once again let the AFC and subject recognition take over and achieve critical focus. I've also used this feature, the full-time DMF feature, for pushing past maybe obstacles on a bird cage because the subject recognition can't see the bird because of the bars that are closer to the camera. Pushing that focus further back, the camera will then recognize that there's a bird there to focus on, and I then let AFC and subject recognition take over. Perhaps one of the greatest uses of full-time DMF, I think, is when we're photographing at quite close focusing distance, such as in this particular image. I'm photographing a bird on a tree at only 5 meters focus distance. Now full-time DMF is on, and if it wasn't on the lens that I'm using, I'd have it on in the camera menus. Now if I suddenly focus on something that's 50 meters away, the camera might struggle to focus because the subject is so blurry it doesn't know actually what distance the subject is positioned at. So let's again turn that full-time DMF on and see how we use this feature to quickly push focus between very close subjects and subjects at a much greater distance. If I want to move from 5 meters to 50 meters, then all I'm going to do is just do a quick quarter turn approximately on some of the cameras to push from 5 meters to 50 meters. I don't need to be precise. I will get a magnified view, but I don't need to focus precisely. I just need the camera to recognize that there is a bird at that distance, so then it can reacquire. So once I'm pretty sure that my focus is in the ballpark figure of the subject I'm now trying to acquire, I'll let go of that focus ring, and AFC, or continuous autofocus, will take over once again. Likewise, if I'm photographing birds in flight at 50 meters and then suddenly I notice a bird sitting on a branch very close to me, 5 meters or so, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm just going to push that focus ring clockwise if I'm from behind the lens, just again a quarter turn or less, and as soon as the camera recognizes the bird there, I'm going to let go of the focus ring and let AFC and subject recognition take over. So full-time DMF is for rapid shifts in focus distance where the focus might struggle or hunt if we don't pull focus manually. And it is important to let go of the focus ring to let AFC re-engage. Remember, with the DMF Focus Mode, we're achieving critical focus, first with AFS and then fine-tuning the focus. In full-time DMF, we're actually just getting into a ballpark area where the AFC can re-engage. If you like these workflows that I'm outlining, I do promote a PAL workflow in my Patreon support channel. This is portrait, action and landscapes. I basically configure memory recalls for 1, 2 and 3. So we already have the appropriate settings for 3 genres, portrait, action and landscape, and we might need to only fine-tune 1, maybe 2 settings at most to get the best possible setup for any subject that we're photographing. And this workflow allows me to avoid ever missing a shot. So if this workflow sounds attractive to you, I do outline them in my ebooks and also my seminars on my Patreon support channel. So head over to patreon.com/Mark Gaylor and I'll see you there.